But it's a packed house here at Miller's tonight. We got our friends bellying up to the bar. Just like I feel like I'm on Cheers with those guys.
I was going to say something about Skid Row. I wasn't sure.
Oh, you were going to Skid Row? All right, so that's kind of cool. So here, my name's Chuck Burge, and we're with the Owls Who Live Sports, and my co-host, as always, Mr. Robert Kenny.
Call me.
How you doing, buddy?
Living the dream, sir. Hootie hoo.
Hootie hoo. Can I get a big hootie hoo? A lot going on with the Owls this week. And as always, we'll start off our show with ATI, Adam the intern. Tell us a little bit about what's been going on at KSU this week.
Well, you know where it didn't rain? It didn't rain in Texas. We had
Austin, Texas.
We had the track and field national championships. We had 6 people that punched their tickets to go to the national championships. We got one national championship out of the 6. Isaiah Rogers won. Callie came in 17th. Sarah Hendrick finished 13th in the semifinals. Anthony Harrison finished 22nd. Campbell finished 19th, and Courtney Lawrence finished 15th.
So a lot of good representation in Austin.
Campbell and Harrison each earned All-American honorable mention.
They did.
Yes, they did.
Very nice.
I wrote Anthony and told him congratulations. He was very appreciative.
He called the show last week.
Yeah, he called the show last week, and he's on next week. Him and Callie Terza will be back on next week, and we're going to see if we can get Callie to squat ATI over here and be a minor workout for her, as small as he is, but going to work her way up to a real man. But we'll get back to that later. All right, ATI, thanks for the update. Anything else going on?
We had a basketball recruit.
Tell us about it.
R.J. Johnson from Alabama. He's ranked 185th nationally. He's the 22nd ranked combo guard and the #1 player from the state of Alabama.
And he was previously supposed to go to Alabama, right?
Yes.
And when we swiped Antoine Petway from Tuscaloosa, and now we have Antoine Petway here.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
He's ranked ahead of people from Wisconsin, Boston College, and Notre Dame recruits.
Oh, that's cool. And so a lot of good things
We've
going on.
added a lot of players on that basketball team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week we added Jason Holt, and there's a lot of transfers. It's going to be an interesting team.
Yeah, they got a transfer from West Virginia. I went to an alumni last night with KSU. They were talking about how Coach Petway really is not fond of the transfer portal, but he's got some really good players out of that. One of them, big shooter out of West Virginia, 6'8". So I think we're going to be all right. He promises a very up-tempo, fast-run basketball game. So as much fun as we had last year at the Convo Center, he says, let's pack that place out.
It's always hard to repeat at anything, but we've brought in a lot of long talent on the basketball team. So, whether they're the same level, we'll find out. But it's a bigger team.
Yeah.
It's a bigger team and hopefully a faster team. He spoke very highly of having Terrell Burden and Damon Robinson back. So that was
huge.
Yeah, that's a major, major plus for Coach Petway as he gets started. They just had their 5th practice, I guess, today, 5th or 6th. And he said it started out slow, but he likes where they're heading. So very excited about KSU basketball. Coach Petway said that the schedule should be out first week of July. They've already got their ASUN conference schedule because they don't move up till next year.
I heard a rumor about the schedule that we're going back to Indiana again.
We are. Yep, it's true.
Playing in Assembly Hall.
Playing back in Assembly Hall where we lost by 14, I think, last year. But we were up 41-40 at one point.
Yeah, we
8 minutes left.
We had a 1-point lead at halftime, I do believe.
Yeah. So go Owls. Very excited about where the basketball team's going. Coach Bo talked a little bit about the football, and he said, we don't care what division we're playing in or what conference we're playing in. We just want to win. So they both got up and said the best is yet to come. So very excited about that. KSU Owls moving up.
Well, and when you are a coach of any Kennesaw State team, you can't be worried about who's on your schedule. All you can do is be the best team you can be, and then
play the team you're scheduled to play.
Let the schedule play itself out.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for the update, ATI.
You're welcome.
And Robert, let's get one of the commercials out of the way.
Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper. Go Owls.
Go Owls. And thank you, David McDonough, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports. And speaking of owls and people who live and love sports, we have our good friend, Mr. Will Durham, with us tonight. I wonder why he played that. Will, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you on the show.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Will Purdue, 4 years basketball manager at KSU?
4 years, 17 to 21, 2 years of Skinner, 2 years of Mir. So it was all best years. It was awesome.
And then you went last year to Clemson. Is that right? You got your doctorate, not your doctorate, your master's at Clemson.
I wish I got my doctorate, but
master's at Clemson.
Exactly. I was a graduate assistant with the Clemson men's basketball team last 2 years. Coach Amir and all those guys helped me get that job, and that was another great 2 years ACC basketball, and very blessed to have that opportunity. And now I'm back in Atlanta, so it's fun times.
Very nice.
What was it like going to Cameron indoor?
Oh man, it's insane. And if you guys go in person, it's one of the best sporting events you'll ever go to, especially when you're the opponent, and especially when you got fans on your neck. Right. When you're on that bench, and they're crazy. There's no line about that, and it's loud. It's the loudest place I've ever been.
Oh,
sure.
really?
Yeah, no doubt.
It's not very big, correct?
No,
comparatively speaking.
It's not. It could be.
I don't think it holds 10,000, does it?
I think it's. I know. No. Yeah, I think it might be 8 or 9, but it's loud. It's packed. It's awesome though. It's a great environment.
And that's cool. We talk about Cameron all the time, but let's talk about your years at KSU. Mm-hmm. What's the smallest crowd you ever saw at the Combo Center?
Maybe. I don't know, probably 100.
I bet those three were there.
Those three were definitely there. There's no doubt, and those other two guys over there as well.
Absolutely, but, that whole row.
Yeah, no, there were some years where we play like Ryan Hart as exhibition game in 19 and 18. I remember those years. I mean, there weren't a lot of fans, but going back, I was at the ASUN championship game this past year with my now fiance, and. I didn't even watch back. I just looked around the whole time. Seriously,
mind-boggling.
It really was. It was just to go from 30 people in the stands and most of it being family. And
wait, it was 100 a while ago. Now it's 30.
Well, it's expression. It's expression.
Okay, I'm with you.
We're in the media business. We just gotta say some things and
let it flow.
Exactly.
I think that's the only men's home game I missed was the championship game because one of my sons was stuck in Nashville for Christmas, so that was the weekend we had Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting in my house when they finally left, and there's 4 minutes left in the game. And I only live like 4 miles away. I said, do I drive up there? Do I watch the rest of the game on TV? Do I drive up there? And hindsight, I wish I'd driven up there, but I stayed at home and watched it. But Robert and I were both at the game against Liberty. I guess you weren't there. Not when they won the championship, the regular season.
Yeah, I watched that one.
To me, I've never been in an environment at a college event better than that one.
Wow.
I mean, I know last night we sang You Don't Go to War with the Owls.
Oh, yeah.
Very lame compared to what we had, had that night.
You guys are awesome with that chant now. I mean, I remember, again, 30 people singing that chant, and I'm like, man, it's halftime. We're down 20. I don't know why we're singing You Don't Want to Go to War with the Owls. Obviously, they kind of do now, but no one wants to go to war with the Owls now, especially when 4,000 fans are cheering. It's awesome.
Yeah, really. Yeah. You know what's really cool is I was sitting there last night and said, who wrote this song? Does anybody know who goes to war with the Owls?
We got to ask.
Carrick, do you know that? What? Who wrote You Don't Want to Go to War with the Owls?
We got to ask someone in the Kennesaw State Band Department.
That will be something.
Got to be someone there.
We're going to have a KSU Jeopardy show on here in a couple of weeks, and we'll have to find out what the answer is before that. But powerful song, and I'll never forget when Will Renfro and I went up, and Garrett Carrick, we all went up to Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
And people were just looking around saying, "What? What?"
Mr. James Sawczynski.
James Chaucinski?
Yes, that is the person who wrote the song.
Thank you, Mr. James. Appreciate it.
He was director of the KSU School of Music.
There it is.
Wow. Now we know.
That was fast, but I appreciate that. I mean, that is quick. You got to appreciate the research that goes into this. That was quick. that was quick.
Always have the site ready. And it actually wasn't, the first time it was played was February 10th, 2012. So pretty new.
Yep. A little over 11 years, I guess. Yeah, cool. So, what were you to do? Did you were manager of the basketball team?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
what
sir.
were you do? Don't shirt, just
No,
check. I
just
know you're polite.
We're in the
just
South,
like
it's polite.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, the main duties as a manager, I mean, you just got to be there for everyone is really the main overview. But if you want to get into the nitty gritty of it, you're doing dirty laundry, always transporting gear. You're a practice player. You're making sure snacks and everything like that is good. Anything in the office, anything the coaches need, you make sure you do that as well. It's it's a full-time job as well as being a full-time student. And you don't always reap the rewards of being a huge D1 manager, and I definitely didn't. But I'm glad that my guys Cooper and Red over there did, and got a championship ring, and so that was.
They got an ASUN championship ring. Those two guys have an ASUN championship ring.
They should.
Let's see it. You don't even wear it?
No, it's probably not. Is the ring made yet? Yeah, the ring's not made yet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, they'll get it.
We'll cut them some slack.
I might
now,
swipe
then.
it from them first, but we'll see. I don't know, but pretty cool.
Well, you said something the other day that I didn't know, that you're also a practice player.
Yeah, exactly. So it's funny, I there's no way I would have gone this whole interview without mentioning my buddy Jacob Harb, but me and Jacob were co-head managers together, and we were always kind of used in practice. And Coach Amir, back when he's first started, now that the whole scout team thing with walk-ons is relevant, back then it wasn't. We just practiced every player, and so it was me, Jacob, and Coach Amir, Coach Fletcher, and Coach Persson, and we'd run the practice team in 2019, our first year, and man, some of them were great. It gets you in shape, one, and makes you a better basketball player, two, but it's also fun. So it's a cool experience. When I went to Clemson, I thought it would translate, but to the ACC, I got beat like a bush. I got beat like a bush. It was I got killed. I quickly got kicked off the scout team, actually, but it's
off the
funny.
scout team.
I did, and I won't lie about it. I'm not that good. I'm not.
Well,
So.
but you're playing in the league tonight at 8:30.
I know, men's league, Johnson's Ferry. Everyone pull up.
Yeah.
I'm dropping 30 tonight. I'm predicting it. I'll make a Kobe statement. I'm dropping 81. So
Look at
everyone
you.
come out.
Listen to the Mamba over here.
No
He says,
wonder you
go over
can't
to
stay
Park Air
so
Mall.
No wonder you can't steal till 8.
If
You
you
gotta
live
go
in-
drop 81.
If you're living in Indian Hills tonight, just roll over.
Just
It'll
roll
be
up.
right around the corner.
I'll be right
the,
there.
the Mamba's going to put it up.
Exactly.
Mamba.
Yeah, it's either on court 1 or court 2. I don't know which court.
They'll
but
know who you are.
They'll know. The noise will bring them to me. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. That's cool. I played till I was 51. I played in the league for 40
Exactly.
years.
So you're still playing, right? You're
Hey, this guy's the new co-host, or at least the new intern.
They thought it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, cut it out over there.
It's the peanut gallery. It's the best peanut
Yeah.
gallery. There you
I
go.
wish. Yeah. But I love basketball. Did you play in high school?
So I actually never made any middle school or high school teams
Yeah, where'd you
playing
go to high
basketball. I went to Walton High School.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that
yeah,
last
right,
night, yeah.
right down the road. And
Yeah.
so, but it's
Walton.
funny.
The Raiders.
I went to Lassiter. Let me tell you, we
Uh-oh.
got nothing on Walton.
Big rivalries.
Oh,
No, just in the
Usually
same
just,
area.
yeah.
Lassiter and Walton weren't rivalries, really?
Walton has dominated East Snob sports for so
East Snob,
long
I like that.
there was never any competition in any level.
Well, I appreciate you saying that and not me saying that myself.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the only thing that you guys probably didn't win was basketball, and that was Wheeler.
Wheeler takes that throne. We'll give them that.
So they had that over there, like we had over, like McEachern had over Sprayberry. Sprayberry never beat us at anything. Sprayberry was a horrible sports team. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey,
yeah.
we love Sprayberry around here. That's Marietta. It's Marietta, Georgia. We're not going to talk about them stealing the Yellow Jacket logo from Georgia Tech, but we'll talk about the great athletics at Sprayberry High School.
That's funny. Yeah, that's really wild. So tell us a little bit, when you were the team manager, what was your favorite venue that you went to before you went to Clemson, when you were at KSU?
Man, I think, it's funny. We played at, I think I'll give you a big team that we played at in a mid-major. And the big team that we went to was Iowa. We went to Iowa,
really?
and it was Christmas break in December in Iowa. And there shouldn't be any students. I mean, there really shouldn't. Sold out for Kennesaw State. and that was our 1-28 year, and they sold it out. Luca Garza was still there, and
Right.
so he was killing. And but man, that was a crazy environment.
That wasn't the one, though.
The one, I think one of the well, Cameron, it's no Cameron Indoor, but I think for a mid-major, I think a school that's underappreciated is Florida Gulf Coast, because all they have in Fort Myers is Florida Gulf Coast, and they still love bringing up Dunk City 2013. We get it, it's all over, and they got a lot of retirement homes out there, and what they do is they eat pudding and they go to Florida Gulf Coast basketball games.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what you do when you don't have teeth. You just eat pudding.
And then exactly. And then you cheer on all those guys in white and teal. And so, but that's actually an environment we met when we were there. We're right next to the student section, and we made friends with the student section pretty quickly. And so that was a cool environment to be a part of.
Well, that was the biggest part of this last year's basketball schedule for me, was us going to Stetson and then Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
The 2-game road trip through Florida, and you go, if we split, if we get swept,
I remember that,
but
yeah.
you come out of it 2-0, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
get ready, Liberty.
Get ready, Liberty.
Coming for you.
Yeah.
Yes, Stetson's a tough arena, but if you win, the people will come and it will get loud, and so it's.
I've heard that song before.
It's very close to something Costner used to say.
So the year you went 1-28, who was the one?
You know what? Here's a funny story. So it was Gardner Webb in the month of.
Thank you, Gardner Webb.
Mid-December. It was the year after they went to the tournament too. So I thought it was a pretty good win. But it's funny, and I will always tell my mother this. That was the one game I missed that season.
Oh, really?
And so my mom had a doctorate. She got her doctorate. And I love Lynn Durham. She's the best of all time. But she got her doctorate, graduated with her doctorate that day. And that was the one game I missed.
Well, good.
You had to go see your mom.
I had to go see my mom graduate, and that was. But I'll always talk to her and be like, hey, you made me miss that one win in that 128 year.
Well, or maybe she got the team a win because you weren't doing your part. I don't know. I'm just.
There's speculation.
There's speculation.
I went to Clemson and we almost lost the first game, and I was like, "You better not spread that bad juju here, Will." Coach Barnett was like, "You better not have done that," and I was like, "Well, Coach, I don't know. You hired me."
So, in the 4 years that you were a players manager, who was the best player on the team?
In 4 years, in my 4 years, oh man, I mean, you got to think. James, my freshman year we had James Scott, sophomore year James Scott, who was a baller. I'll give you some guys. I don't want to name a best player, but James Scott was a really good player. Kyle Clark was really good, but Tyler Hooker, that 2019-20 year, was left off first team Atlantic Sun, and it was for reasons. Of course, we went 128, but he scored 18 points a game, had 8 assists. He should have been a first-team player on any other conference in the country with those statistics. And so obviously love him. Obviously love Terrell Burden. And I actually want to say right now that one dude that I absolutely love and adore who's not getting statistics is Armani Harris. Armani Harris, nicknamed Mello, is one of my guys. I love him to death. And he had an opportunity. He came in as a freshman that 128 year, came in and said, I'm going to get minutes. He was a great player. That was probably his best statistical season. And then that next year, he saw his minutes go down. You got CY, you got Brandon Stroud, Kason Jennings. And so he started to see minutes go down. And then he started to see minutes go even more down. But he stuck with it. In a game now with transfer portal, he could have left and gone to anywhere else. But Armani Harris has stuck with it, played scout team this past year, and now he has a ring. And I think that's really, really cool.
That is cool.
That's really, and so I'll give him an honorable mention, but Tyler Hooker, Terrell Burden, obviously now he's an absolute legend, going to be the winningest Owl of all time, knock on wood. And, those dudes are absolute ballers, absolute ballers.
So tell me what you think about the transfer portal, you being a younger guy, much younger than us. I want to get your opinion.
Well, the transfer portal is definitely an enigma. It's something that is, it is now. This is what college athletics is people are going to go into that portal, and you can't do anything about it.
Nope.
You really, as a coach, you're going to have a kid that you're going to love to death, and you're going to give the keys of the car to.
I was going to say, and you're going to treat that person really well too,
and they're going to leave. There's no doubt about it. There's no getting rid of this thing right now unless the NCAA does something about it, which
it's not their forte.
No idea what they're going to do, but this is what it is now. And so if you're a coach right now, you have to support it. You have to. That's how your team's going to get better. You can go, again, 1-28 one year, and you can go 28-1 the next year with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And so, do I agree morally with the transfer portal? No. I'm a kid that is loyal. If I were to go somewhere and commit to a school, I'm going to stay there 4 or 5 years, whatever they give me.
6 or 7, whatever.
8, 9, 10 COVID years. How many the NCAA wants to give me, I'm going to stay. But no, I do believe in doing that. But again, that's just me, and I'm not in a situation where if I were to leave and get a lot of money in NIL, that's I'm in a different situation. So
Yeah, I've got so many questions for you. It's funny. What did you major in at KSU?
Business administration.
Business administration.
And minored in marketing. So I'm a Coles College fiend. Number one fan of Coles College around here.
That's cool. But and also, if you know the name Durham, you might know the second greatest announcer of all time, Wes Durham.
It's not true.
It is true. It is true. Only behind Keith Jackson was the greatest announcer of all time. But Wes Durham still calls for the Falcons, right?
He does.
Yes, he does.
And used to be Tech guy, but now he's ACC guy, calls with Roddy Jones and all that stuff. What did your dad think about the transfer portal?
You got to ask Wes Durham. I'm not going to sit here and speak for Wes Durham, and I certainly couldn't speak for Woody Durham, who's the late great UFC legend, who I think he's my number one, and my dad's like 15 or 20 in my list.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Come on now. I got someone's got to humble him a little bit. I think a lot of people talk good about.
Well, that's because he already bought you your first car and all that other stuff.
I got no
I'm sure when you were
comment about
15
that
or 16, he was clearly you're the best of all time.
I don't need anything from this guy anymore.
I got no comment about that.
Yeah, that's good.
No.
But please share my love for your dad with him. I think he's a great announcer.
I will.
I'd rather hear him call a game. And just in general, there's so many football games now, and so many leagues, and so many television stations that the announcing is horrible. I mean, from game to game, it's horrible.
It truly is.
It's pathetic. I mean, and that's why when you hear somebody like a Wes Durham or an ex-Keith Jackson, that you just get so thrilled. And even from the pros, I really like Jim Nantz and Tony Romo together.
Of course,
a lot of people don't like them.
Yeah.
But there's very, very few announcers that I'll listen to the game. I'd rather turn it down and not listen to their crap. But
I love listening to the Falcons driving down the road because you know who he's all in on. It's one thing when you do a Fox game and you have to be, I like each team equally. But when you're driving down the road and it's on 92.9, you're like, what the heck's that guy thinking? Does he have a vendetta? Did somebody date his sister? You're like, exactly.
That's fun. And as much as I love Wes Durham, do you know who Al Serraldo is?
Of course. Come on.
I hated Al Serraldo.
Oh, no. I can't talk bad about Al Serraldo.
I love him because he's a jacket.
Of course.
I'll never forget, he's like calling a football game and he says, okay, Eddie Michan back to pass. And he throws over to Robert Levette. It's a screen pass. He's at the 45. He's at the 42 for a loss of 4 yards. And then when he called basketball, it was a bunny shot. So as much as I love Wes, I did not like Al. I did not like Larry Munson. I thought he was horrible.
You don't like anything from Athens, so that's a little different.
You're killing some legends right now.
No, but he doesn't like anything out of Athens.
But you're shocked that I said I didn't like Al Serraldo, right? Yeah, Al Serraldo was bad.
But the conversation that we originally started on with the portal, we lost a lot through the portal, but we've got a lot through the portal in the last, so this is going to be a really interesting year for KSU.
Of course. Yeah, no, it is. I think one of the things you guys have a lot, I mean, you got a head coach that's determined to win early. And Coach Petway, I met him last night, and he's just, and you met him, he's a high-class character. He's a great guy, and he also knows what's in front of him, and that's following a really hard act.
Very much so.
But here's the thing is that you got a conference right now, and this is the year to do it. This is the year to follow that act. And so you bring back Terrell Bird, and you bring back Damon Robinson, and Quincy, and you got some guys who have been experienced with the Kennesaw State, with the ASUN, and now you got some guys through the transfer portal, and you got some really good recruits.
Who's the other guard that we had on the show? No, we had his dad on the show. It wasn't Terrell Burden's dad.
No, we had the freshman's dad.
Simeon Cottle.
Simeon Cottle. Yeah, we had his dad.
Him coming back too.
Absolutely.
And he's going to be an absolute beast.
And we asked his dad. He's the heir apparent. to Terrell Bird.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
exactly.
he absolutely is.
For sure. And
So very excited about KSU basketball. Why? Two questions. Number one, why did you choose KSU? And tell me why somebody else should choose KSU.
Oh, man, I chose Kennesaw State. First of all, I grew up in Marietta, Georgia. It was 20 minutes down the road, and I saw a campus that was thriving and growing. And back in 2016 when I chose it, I knew they had a great business school, and I knew I had an into the athletic department to be able to become a manager. And so one of the reasons I chose it is because I knew they had a great dorm place.
Everything's new.
Cared about where I lived.
New.
So I lived at University Village Suites, and I knew where I wanted to be. I saw the Commons. I ate there once. It convinced me. That was my puller. It was the Commons, and then just having a great athletic department where I could go in and be an intern and be a basketball manager, and having a great business school and being proud of my degree. And I'm very proud of my degree of business at Kennesaw State. It was awesome. I chose it over some local schools in the state of Georgia, and there was no doubt in my mind I made the best decision. And
That's awesome.
I think,
and we talk all the time about on the show about if somebody gives $500 to Georgia or to Georgia Tech or to Clemson or Alabama, it doesn't mean much.
That's
If you give
correct.
$500 to KSU, you're a part of a family and part of something really cool like these guys over here. Like I went to Kennesaw Junior College, but I've never been back and got wrapped in Kennesaw Junior College like I
Exactly.
have since
Yeah.
we started doing the show.
Yeah.
And it's a great party to be a part of. I mean, we're joining Conference USA in a year.
I know.
It's
Isn't
going
that
to be a
crazy?
fabulous thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and
It's a
we're
great-
just at the bottom floor. So that's the purpose of our show, is to raise NIL money for KSU sports, and we want to help. So if anybody out there wants to help us in terms of giving cash or sponsoring this show, we're all for it. So that's why. Why should somebody else come? Why should a 3 or 4 star athlete that looks at KSU? Same reason you came?
I mean, yes. If they're if there's a 3-star, 4-star athlete from Marietta, Georgia, your eyes should go up 75 and go right to Kennesaw State. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You're growing. It's all about growth at Kennesaw, and we've been saying it for a couple years, and now we've got something to prove that growth: championships and winning. And but it's also, you talked about the family aspect. Kennesaw State's a family, and you're joining a great group of people. And a lot of people, when they leave a school, they don't stay connected to a lot of people. And I've gotten the opportunity to stay connected to the managers. And even if someone new comes in like Coach Petway, they're open arms to me, and they're open arms to a lot of people. And so that's a family aspect, and then also just a great campus life. You're going to be proud of your degree, whatever you get it in, and the Commons.
And you'll be able to find a job with that degree.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And also, if you want good food, there's no other place to go than the Commons. So that's my pitch.
It's funny because a lot of the players have said that we've interviewed, haven't they, Robert?
Oh,
A
absolutely.
lot of
No
people
doubt.
that we brought
Oh,
in
there's
said
no doubt.
Commons, living. So everybody's the same story. But it's a really, really cool place to be. They also mentioned, well, the Battery's only 20 minutes away.
There you
But
go.
these are people
Yeah.
that aren't from here. So,
Yeah, if you want to go sit on the bench at the end of in Bloomington, then you can stay in a really horrible dorm and whatever else, or you can come here, compete for a starting spot, and really enjoy where you stay and what you eat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Every situation's different, and but Kennesaw State, it's grown me. It's kind of made me the person I am today. I'm really happy about it. So
well, we
We're happy
appreciate
about
you
that,
coming.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we obviously want to get you on the 5 o'clock show sometime to talk about
Oh,
sports
there
in
you go.
general. And we'll let you go because we know you being the
I got
basketball
81
story.
I got
all that
81
you
to
got.
drop, guys. I got 81 to drop.
But we
So,
got one more question for
Yeah.
you, and the answer can't be my dad.
Of course.
Okay, all right. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Ooh, in my cell phone right now. In my cell phone, man. That's
Go ahead, throw it out there.
Hey, have you always got a problem with repeating things?
Man, I probably have to say John Shire. It's
Oh,
probably,
yeah?
Probably my most famous person on my cell phone.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We've had anything from grandmamas and granddaddies to Samuel L. Jackson. Somebody had, so it was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
So
That's
yeah.
pretty awesome.
So Robert, you got anything else before we let Will go?
I do not. Go dump in 30, Mamba, and
Hey,
we look forward to having you back here soon.
I appreciate it. You guys are doing awesome, and the support for the show, and your guys' main thing is to grow KSU, and for that, I support you guys. It's awesome. So I appreciate it.
It's all about getting it out to the community.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right.
I
Well,
appreciate
come
it.
back,
Yeah, we
Will,
love
will
you.
you?
Yes, I will.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
I will. Appreciate it.
Everybody, a big hooty hoo for Will Purdue. All right. So let's get another commercial, and then we get our fan of the week on.
This is you. Yep.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
Thank you, ATI, and we thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports, as well as David McDonough from earlier. And we have a new guest, our fan of the week, Mr. Milad Jabari. Everybody give him a big hooty-hoo. Milad, welcome, buddy.
Well, thank y'all for having me. I'm glad I could make it to one.
Took us a while to get you on here, but we're happy to have you.
No,
Absolutely.
I was all over the road, and I'm a recent KSU graduate, so
Congratulations.
I've got a little bit more free time on my hands, and I'm happy to be able to make it to one.
Tell us about your journey through KSU.
Yeah, for sure. So, I grew up in the area.
Where did you go to high school? Kingston Mountain?
I went to Kell High School.
Oh, Kell.
Kell High School, so pretty close to Lassiter. But, I played lacrosse growing up, and I wanted to play in college, but I tore both my labrums, and playing year-round lacrosse for 5-6 years, I was burned out, and my true love was KSU from when I was a kid. I've been going to KSU basketball games since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. So I've seen it at every level, all the way up until this last year when I was a senior in college at KSU. So things really came full circle, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Isn't that cool to have that your senior year?
Oh, it was super cool. My freshman year of college, I got a little bit bullied for saying I was a KSU fan, trying to get some friends to go to the game and stuff like that. But now everything's come full circle, and they're like, okay, you were right. Like, you got in it early. We wish we would have come to some games with you so we could have called ourselves true fans.
Right.
But
Once you go to the 1 in 27 year, you're like, I'm a fan.
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
you bought stock early. Like, there was no going back after that.
That's cool. So, again, you're a local guy, but I would say, what percentage of students would you say that aren't local that are at KSU now?
So definitely a good amount. But last night, how they talked about it, it's a residential school now, and whether it's on campus, which they could probably still use some more rooms because it's a growing school, but off campus is huge now. So there's a lot of people that are moving in from mainly Georgia, I would still say. The core group of people that I know that go to Kennesaw State are from Georgia. But then again, I've made a ton of friends that are out of state, all the way from California to Alabama, South Carolina, things like that.
Just the athletes we've had on board have been from everywhere.
Absolutely. And talking about more places to stay, I drove down Cherokee Street the other day, and Lord knows there's going to be a lot of new rooms available on that road.
Yeah, it's a good time to be in real estate, I would say.
Absolutely.
Well, like at Shiloh and Cherokee? Are they building?
If you go out the other side of Pine, what's the golf club?
Pine Tree.
Pine Tree. If you go out the other side of Pine Tree where it dead ends into Cherokee, everything to your left has been cleared for about 3/4 of a mile, and the buildings are all starting to go up.
Is that all dorms?
It looks like dorms and apartments.
I think that's another recruitment standpoint is the campus living, off-campus living that we have is really nice. I mean, you're not in the traditional dorm that you see in movies and our parents and things like that grew up going to, but these are nice apartments. You get your own bathroom, you get a kitchen, things like that.
Which is unheard of. Any person out here who went to school somewhere, they shared their bathroom with a lot of people. They didn't have their own.
Yeah, that's true. And Milad, we know your dad's president of the KBA, Kevin Jabari.
Hi, Kevin.
Did you live at home when you were at school, or did you live on campus?
So I was lucky. I was able to move out, and I have a house about 10 minutes from my parents, 10 minutes from campus. So it's a little bit of best of both worlds. Whenever mom or dad's making a home-cooked meal, I'll go back for that.
Is your dad a good cook?
My dad is a good cook. He
All right.
definitely is. I will give him that.
That's cool.
He's not giving you anything else, Kevin, but he's going to give you that.
He's going to give you the fact that you can cook.
If he was here, I might not have said that. But
Yeah.
I understand that.
Well, unfortunately, it's on tape now, or
It's
on
a
something.
bonus for while he's watching. He's like, hey, son gave me props.
he does love me.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So, so did you look at any other schools when you were looking at KSU, or?
So like I said, I wanted to play lacrosse really, really bad, and I had a good amount of offers that I was weighing in between. I went on visits and things like that, but I'm a big family man. I love my family to death, and just the thought of going somewhere in the middle of North Carolina and being however many hours away to just play lacrosse all the time from sun up to sundown, it was something I just couldn't live with. And then it was around April, May, so kind of late when I realized, okay, I'm not going to play lacrosse in college. I want to stay home. I want to go to KSU. I was a political science major, and I was pretty involved with politics at an early age. So the network that I had built up was something that I didn't want to leave. And being this close to Atlanta with the state capital, as a political science applied major at that point, it was something I couldn't pass up. And it made KSU a no-brainer for me. So I was pretty involved in high school. I had a pretty good GPA, I would say. But I didn't even apply to UGA or anything like that.
Nobody wants to apply to UGA.
I hate UGA.
That's the man.
So I didn't even apply to UGA. I just knew KSU was where I wanted to be.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you get offers to play lacrosse anywhere?
I had a good amount of offers, a lot of D3, D2, a couple D2, and then I had one potential D1 offer, but it was one of those things. Lacrosse is still a growing sport. Mercer is the only D1 program in Georgia with the lacrosse team and with the men's lacrosse team.
Yeah.
And back in my stubborn high school mind, I only wanted to go D1. And I wasn't really open to the other idea of going to a small school. I'm a pretty social guy. I wanted a big environment.
Who was the D1 school?
High Point was the one that I was in contact with.
North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is that lacrosse is not getting the big athletic scholarship, and that is an expensive school. So I was able to keep Hope Scholarship through college, and to be able to go out of college debt-free is something
You can't beat that.
I'm very excited about that. So
Lacrosse is a really cool sport. I've watched it a few times. I watched the national championship this year. Notre Dame and Notre Dame won their first national championship, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and they have the two brothers, the Kavanaughs.
Yeah.
Who their older brother actually played for Notre Dame back when I was in high school. So he was someone I used to love watching and things like that. But I love lacrosse. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I grew up playing basketball, but I stopped growing. So once I realized I wasn't growing any taller, I was pretty good at lacrosse, so I stuck with it, and I'm really glad I did. I miss it.
So you're not putting up 81 like Will is tonight?
I mean, if I can park myself in the corner 3 spot and get lucky a couple times.
That's cool.
But he's a little bit taller than me. I'll give it to him.
Yeah, Will. I didn't even notice how tall he was. What, 6'1", 6'2", something like that? Yeah, he's a good guy. So I know that you're a big fan. I know we were in Greensboro together for the game.
Yeah.
Had you traveled to a lot of the away games?
So I want to say, though, I think I've been to a Mercer game back in the day. But
Basketball?
Yeah. But that was my first out-of-state game that I had been to. And, I mean, it being March Madness was a feeling that you remember. It's something I'll never forget.
Oh, no, ever.
So,
Let alone your senior year.
Exactly. So my dad and I rode up together the night before, and we stayed up in Greensboro and went to the game. And we had a family get-together that Sunday, and we were looking at each other in the first half like, I think we're bailing. Like, I think we're going to stay up here.
Dude, it wasn't the first half. It was 9 minutes left in the game.
So I think you can blame my dad and I for jinxing it potentially. But
Oh, it could have been Chuck and some of those guys, too.
Could have been me and Will, because we're looking at it and says, geez, we got to plan on coming back
yeah,
Sunday.
we got to get another hotel room.
Because I was going to ride back with somebody else and drive back up with Robert and Larry. Was it you or somebody else? We were going to go back up Sunday and watch the game. And then we didn't score a point for 6 minutes. And I said, well, maybe we're not.
Yeah, but I mean, just even the loss, like that is,
Absolutely.
we got to be so proud of that. They fought their tails off, and I mean, they really impressed me, who's a lifelong fan, but the whole nation. I mean, everyone knows Kennesaw State now.
Yeah, and I don't know if you
And that's one of the most important things.
Oh, for
People
sure.
are hearing that name.
Yeah,
Exposure.
to be able to type KSU in on Google and not see Kansas State is a good feeling.
Well, I don't know if I told you this, Robert, but I'm a member of on Facebook of College Fan Buzz.
Oh, yeah.
And they wrote the question yesterday. I'm a top fan, whatever that means, but they wrote if you could get a ticket to every ball game for what school in the country, why would you take? And I said Kennesaw State.
Exactly.
And these people were laughing at me. They saying, Kennesaw State, are you a joke or what? I said, well, let me tell you something. I said, number one, they went to the dance this year. They just had 6 athletes at the national track finals, and they just had their first ever football player recruited to the NFL.
Yeah.
And
Drafted, absolutely.
I said, I don't know if you're much of a sports fan or not, but that means that's enough becoming school, and it's my alma mater, and I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's
and
the thing is-
nobody said anything back.
It's not just basketball. I mean,
Oh, no.
For so long, baseball is probably our most consistent for the longest
Correct.
time team. Football has had a historic start, and then you go into tennis, golf, track and field, cheerleading. I mean, we have every sport down the book is competitive, and they talked last night about the momentum of KSU, and that's the coolest thing to me is like these are pivotal moments. And when I'm older and I'm able to look back, I can say I was at the start of all this.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're at the ground floor of something really, really special here as
sure.
we go into Conference USA. And I know you experienced this well in Greensboro, but we had people coming up saying to us, where is Kennesaw?
Yeah.
Where is Kennesaw? Nobody knew where it was. And to Robert's point, we lost the ball game, but we got more exposure from that game than any place we've ever been, probably.
Sure. It was a winning season on and off the records. I mean,
Well, and like we were talking about with the ASUN championship game, it's on ESPN too.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of people who've been flipping TVs in Boise or Sheboygan or Austin, Texas. They're
We're
like,
going to Sheboygan again?
what is that? Kennesaw State.
Yeah,
What is this?
it's not Kent State.
That's how you get. You know, you got to be seen to be
sure.
heard, and we're getting there. We're
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
So tell me this: you're very well spoken, and what are you going to do with that degree of yours?
so
Political science.
I've worked in partisan politics. I've had a handful of jobs at the political level, but I really want to work in government relations. I interned with the Childhood Cancer Research Group and was able to do advocacy work for them.
Which one?
Rally Foundation for
Nice.
Childhood Cancer Research, and that was a great experience. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. They were not only great to me, but great to so many families that are enduring the battle. And
I'm in the Optimist Club, and we worked with them as well
Oh, yeah.
about 5 years ago.
well, I can say this without a doubt in my heart that they are great people doing a great cause and stuff. So I want to do politics for good because there's not much of that in this world anymore. But if I can work in the government relations scene,
So you want to run for office?
maybe down the road.
Okay.
Keep your eye out on the ballots for my name.
Absolutely.
Maybe one day, but
You got my vote.
But like you guys are doing, I want to be involved in this community. I want to stay in Kennesaw. It's where I've grown up, and it's a place I call home. But it really means so much more to us and everybody else around here. But Kennesaw is a great place. The school's even better, and it's only going to get better. So that's something I don't want to leave. I want to stay involved philanthropically, and I want to plant my roots here.
That's awesome. Well, your roots are
Your roots
planted
are
here.
here, yeah.
Because I can tell you the first few times I ever went to a Kennesaw Mountain High School football game, you know, your dad was walking around there, and it was like, hey, I know that guy.
For sure. I do have a great father, a great mom as well. My family's awesome. I couldn't leave them.
That's two good things he said about you, Kevin.
I couldn't leave my
Only
family.
two we could come up with, but it's okay.
They've done so much for me, and my dad's been a really good example of giving back to the community and things like that. So I've been able to work with him a little bit with the Kennesaw Business Association this year and start a young professionals group that we've been working.
Oh, that's really cool.
Working pretty well with the Kennesaw State Young Professionals group as well. So and this community is booming, and it's really, really cool to see.
That's awesome.
And we got a couple more questions. Robert, let's go ahead and get our last commercial out of the way.
Do you need a delivery right now, as in go now, please? Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, car, van, or pickup. Whether it's from Atlanta to Athens, Dothan to Augusta, Memphis to Charlotte, and all points in between, we've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport's still on the dresser, your 5-wood isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly, Bearcat Express with their live tracking capabilities is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier in the Southeast. Check us out at bearcatexpress.com.
Thank you, Blair Cook and Alvin Jameson and David McDonough, for all being sponsors of Three Guys Who Love Sports. This is a show we do at 5 o'clock, and the Owls Who Live Sports here at 7. We appreciate you being a part of this, and we have given money to the Owl Collective, and we continue to raise money and hope to give more to the Owl Collective in the future. Speaking of Owl Collective, why do you think people should come to KSU?
Like we've talked about it a couple times, but the momentum behind it, and like you said, like planting their roots and starting a legacy is something that you can't do many other places right now. And I don't know another school off the top of my head that has as much momentum and as much potential as Kennesaw State. So
potential is through the roof.
It's really cool to see, and I think the biggest thing with Conference USA is it's not even sports related to me, but the biggest thing with the move to Conference USA is we have such a big school, and we talk about the student experience and things like that. I think Conference USA is going to help grow the experience, grow on-campus life on campus, and I think it's really going to be a huge, huge shift for the students and the academics as a whole. To not even mention the plus side it's going to have for athletics as well. But going up to Conference USA is going to bring that student experience up to par with how many students we actually have.
Yeah, and academic is very important, and Kat made a really good point of that last night. But the athletics kind of drives the exposure
it's
to
the
the
easiest
school.
thing to get us on the map, get our name out there. I mean, a lot of people love sports, and not a lot of people love doing homework.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be able to rally
Except
around
for people
our
who
team.
just graduated and might be your mayor or governor someday.
Exactly.
I did do my homework, and
There you go.
I did graduate.
There you go.
So have you been to away football games as well?
I haven't, but with Chattanooga, like that's one I have on my calendar. Going back to when they started the football program, I didn't have a license back then. So to be able now, I'm out of college. I don't have as much responsibilities yet.
It's coming.
Yeah, I know. I know it's coming, but now it's something that I'm really looking forward to have some more free weekends and be able to drive up and catch a football game. But I have been thankful for ESPN Plus because I watch them all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, so you're a football fan in general too?
For sure. I mean, Coach Bohannon is awesome.
No, I'm talking about like nationally, not just Kennesaw State.
So nationally, I'm a Kennesaw State fan and I'm a Louisville Cardinal fan.
Oh, okay.
So two teams that you never really know what's going to happen with them. So we had Lamar Jackson and Malik Cunningham and back to Teddy Bridgewater. So it's been cool to see. I'm definitely a college sports fan down the book. But basketball is my true love. I love watching basketball and following basketball more than anything.
Well, we talked. Was it last week we talked about bowl games, or the week before? A couple of weeks ago we talked about bowl games.
That's going to be so cool. Our first bowl game is going to be.
Which bowl game do you want us to go to first? What bowl game do you think is realistic, and which one would you like us to go to?
Hawaii Bowl would be pretty cool, but
That's a long swim.
but no, I don't. I mean, that is one thing. There are so many bowl games now, and so somewhere a cool city. It'd be cool to, like we had Greensboro that was just right up the highway, and to be able to somewhere we can get all the students and all the community to be able to drive out to a game. That'd be pretty cool.
That was very cool, because we talked about it on the show about we don't know where we're going. We could have gone to Denver, or Des Moines, or
I had Google Flights pulled up, ready to buy a flight to wherever I was going to go. I was not going to miss that March Madness game.
You were at the selection party at Combo
Yes.
Center, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
There were some chills that were going on there.
Yeah, well, remember when Kent State first came up and everybody
Yep.
said, "Oh, that's us," but no.
Mini heart attack.
Yeah, but when that place erupted, when they said Raleigh, I've never seen anything like that.
Well, not only the feeling that I had, but seeing all the players, how excited they were too. I mean, it was so easy to follow that basketball team, and I know down the road it's going to be even easier to follow these next few teams that we're going to have as well. So,
Yeah,
exciting stuff.
yeah, and football is kind of the driver, and it's a little
Always
disappointing.
is.
More money in football, and we have a great football team, and I think, as Coach Bohannon has mentioned a couple times now, that last season wasn't up to par, but you look at all the seasons before that, and it's just something we weren't used to. Maybe we did need a reality check.
You gotta have a bump in the road, yeah.
Yeah, not only as players and coaches, but as fans. I mean, a lot of KSU fans are new fans, and
Absolutely.
especially with football, you've only seen them be good. To have them have a season that's not that bad, to be honest, not up to par with
Usual
Kennesaw State.
par, right.
Yeah, not up to par with our standard, but a not too bad season. And to see people be all negative Nancy's and things like that we're going to be okay. We're in really good hands.
No, we really are. And, I just pulled this map up. I can't show it to the rest of the world, but, when you look at that's the conference
cool
that we're going into.
Is that the current conference, or is that what it's going to be when we're there?
That's what it's going to be when we get there. So
Okay.
when you start looking at that, and you've got New Mexico State, UTEP, Sam Houston, Louisiana Tech,
Western Kentucky,
Middle Tennessee,
Blue Raiders.
FIU, and then of course our two already existent rivals. There you go. Thank you, Liberty, and Jack State. But that's a lot. There's going to be a lot of fun traveling going on. These guys up here. I know they're going to be at La Tech and Sam Houston, and can't wait to go to New Mexico State. It's going to be a fun schedule. But the one thing I'd like to point out, and I'm not jinxing anything, as we get bigger, our players are going to get bigger and stronger. When you look at the current, or what will be the makeup of Conference USA, nothing on there that scares me. I don't look at any of these teams and go, wow, Sam Houston's really been coming up over the last 65 years. or New Mexico State, man, they really turned the corner 83 years ago, and, we better watch out. We're going to have some fun in this conference.
Yeah. And I think they're all above average teams. I mean, there's no team in there that's going to be a walk in the park, but that's a good thing. And when you're playing not only good competition, but you're in a good conference with every sport, because, baseball and football, all these conferences are really, these teams are good.
Absolutely.
That's another recruiting point. A lot of these big-time players want to compete.
FBS is a recruiting tool in itself.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the opportunities a bowl game can
And
offer.
MTSU won their bowl game last year against somebody pretty big. I don't remember.
Correct.
I'm an MTSU fan because my youngest son went there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm excited about MTSU and Kennesaw playing each other.
The lady who hired me to be the voice of Kennesaw Mountain Mustang football, her son was the long snapper
At MTSU?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a guy from my high school that still has track records at MTSU, so that's very cool. And there's another Owls. You think that would become a no, FAU left, didn't it?
Yeah, it's
FAU
just FIU.
left. It's FIU now, yeah. FAU was the Owls, and the Rice was there too. So we had 3 Owls at one time, but we're the only Owls
We'll
now.
be the only Owls worth talking about.
Yeah, the only one we're talking about.
Well, we already were, but now there won't be anybody else to confuse the subject.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I'm excited about football. I like the new offense, and Coach Bo talked about it a lot last night.
That's from a fan perspective.
How different is that?
I didn't mind the triple option because it worked.
Yeah.
But telling my friends, hey, let's go to a KSU football game, and they bring up the triple option, like, oh, it's boring, blah, 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 blah. But you got to see it, and you gotta invest in the team and watch them grow and stuff like that. But with the passing options that we're going to have, as in addition to the great running game that we've already built up, it's going to be really fun to watch.
Well, and as you already pointed out, you can get in on the ground floor and know everything to begin with. Any of these friends who decide to come along with you now, they won't know anything about the triple option because they're never going to see it.
Exactly.
And the cool thing about the triple option when they run it is, from a week-to-week basis, if another college has never seen it, it's very hard to defend against.
It definitely, it helped. A lot of these defenses weren't used to practicing against triple option and things like that. So.
But, I know it was a combination of things between, eliminating the chop block or the cut block, as they call it, and moving up to Conference USA.
It's going to be, it'll be a difference. It's going to be, I don't think it'll be a rough transition, but it's going to be a transition. And, we started a program from scratch, like Coach Bo said. We can move a program up, hopefully easier than we started one. So.
I think we're going to make tremendous strides this year while we're, putting our quarterbacks in shotgun and adding tight ends and wide receivers to the roster. And I really can't wait to 2 years from now when we do. We're going to Sam Houston. All right, let's see what Sam Houston's got in store for us, because I think we're going to be ready for him.
For sure.
Well, do you think they'll send us out to the Sam Houston and then maybe the next weekend play New Mexico State? Or will we make so we can
That
stay
would help.
out there, or are we going to go back and forth and back and forth?
I think
and
it'll be
and
back and forth. Yeah. It'll be back and forth.
Good for the players. They get to travel a little bit and see some other college campuses. It'll be cool that the stadiums we're going to be playing in. I mean, they're going to be some big-time stadiums. Middle Tennessee,
absolutely.
I know they have MTSU has a pretty big stadium.
They do. It's a lot bigger than KSU.
Yeah.
But their announcer is horrible. Not their announcer, but their field announcer. Robert could do a much better job than this guy. That's
I'm not
another
sure that
Blue
sounded like a
Raider. First
compliment.
down. I
I don't know about Robert, but Robert can do a better job than that guy.
You don't have to be good to be better than this guy. That's my whole
That
point.
was
He
that
was
was
horrible.
That was my part.
You can do it in your sleep.
No, but it's going to be fun. You know, when you look at where these cities all these schools are located. You know, you got a road game in Houston. You got a road game in Nashville. You got a road game in Miami. You know, you're
For the students.
South Beach in November.
South Beach for the Owls. Do you think those guys? Oh my!
They'll be there.
I can't wait to see the picture of Will with his
Will in his Speedo.
No, I was going to say with all the white with the white nose, where you know. He goes,
Will, are we going to South Beach when we play FIU in football?
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's an easy sell.
Will's easy sell, yeah. So that'll be fun.
Think about the travel and student sections that we're going to be able to get as well. I mean, these are fun cities to go to, have a little weekend trip. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm excited. I wish I was still in school for all this.
and I know, wouldn't that be cool? But, 43,000 students, we've got to figure out a way to get more students at the game.
For sure. And I think basketball, I wish there was something in between because, we have baseball, of course, but I wish the basketball season could have just kept going because the hype it was building up
Absolutely.
was something that I've been hanging on to, and I think a lot of people are as well. I mean, the ASUN championship game was when spring break already started for KSU, so thankfully my plans, I left the next day. And I wouldn't have missed the game anyway, but I was a little curious to see how many students would stay back in Kennesaw and stay for the game. And I mean, it was just as packed as the game
was crazy.
leading up to it. I mean, that was an unreal feeling. So I really think that the student section is going to come out and with the bananas. I mean,
We've had the bananas on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
It's going to be we're a school to watch already, and it's going to be for good reason this next coming year.
I completely agree.
I'll tell you a funny story. I had a girl, I used to be the Southeastern Regional Manager for a business that we did sampling all over the country where I'd send kids out and I interviewed this one girl named Sarah Ruth. I'll never forget. She's from Florida State. And she said, well, I don't want to work Saturdays because I have to watch FSU football. I said, well, this is not the job for you.
Yeah.
She said, okay, maybe I won't watch football because I really want to do the job. But
maybe if it was a KSU football game, you could have let it slide. But.
yeah, but not FSU,
No.
right? So have you got a job yet?
So I've been looking. I started a business relatively as a joke, which is kind of a funny story for me to tell. But I've always liked cleaning my car and taking care of it. And I went down to the beach. I think it was my sophomore year or junior year maybe. And I had a bunch of sand in my truck.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so mad about it. And all the people that drug all this sand into my car. What was I gonna do? My head was gonna explode. So I go on Amazon and I started ordering a bunch of car detailing supplies. And I got home and I was in a fraternity during my time at KSU, and I just sent a group message saying, hey, if you want your car cleaned, I'll do it for $5. And I had people lining out my driveway. So I just started buying a couple more things as I went on, and it turned into a pretty cool business that paid for my spending money through college. So I can't be mad about it. I've got a trailer now and stuff like that.
I've got a car
Entrepreneurship's a
you can
beautiful
wash
thing.
tomorrow for $5.
My price, inflation.
It's gone up a little
A little
bit.
bit.
Yeah, inflation.
I
But,
understand that. I understand that.
But no, I want to work in government affairs, but I want to do something that I can not only impact the community, but this is home for me, Metro Atlanta itself. Like I can't miss a KSU basketball game, so I can't fly in for everyone. I've got to stay local, but I've been applying a few places. I've had a couple job offers, but I'm waiting for one that screams my name, and until then, I'll keep running my business.
Well, I know this about you already. You already influence your community by the way you carry yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank
that's a very, very cool thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So very proud of your dad and everything he's done for this community. And that's the kind of people that we want on board for KSU.
For
I mean,
sure.
it's something special, and we all want to be a part of it. That's why these guys are here every week. That's why Robert and I show up. and Larry, and even Adam. Even Adam knows.
And we're just
did something pretty special.
We're just a small part of it too. I mean, we've got a really close knit fan base, and it's really cool to see. I mean, to be able to grow up and all you guys be my mentors, and just a lot of people going to games like the Vickers. We've sat behind
Patrick
them.
and Karen.
We've been sitting behind them at basketball games since I was 5-6 years old, and so they've seen me grow up, and to have influential people like that is I owe a lot to. I owe a lot to this community.
And they sit over behind the bench, right?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think they're the 3rd row up, and we're the 4th row up.
Yeah, I can see you guys over there because I always sit over the other side, section 104 or something, with these nuts. So, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, y'all hold down that side of the court, and
Absolutely.
we'll hold down ours.
You guys, we're going. What did they say? Black and gold or something like that?
Yeah.
I think we're black and you guys are gold.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, Milad, thanks for being on the show,
Thank
man.
y'all for having me. I'm glad I could make it to
What
one
a blast.
finally.
Absolutely.
It's been cool.
Look forward to having you back.
Yeah, it's been cool to see the show grow, and it's something KSU needs for sure. So.
And don't forget, next week, Callie Terza, hopefully lifting Adam Crooks, Adam the intern, over her shoulders if he can stay awake long enough. He's about to fall asleep. But Callie and Anthony Harrison from the track team, both national athletes, are going to be on, and we look forward to having them. Until then, one more big hooty hoo!
Hooty hoo!
And we'll see you next week on the Owls Who Live Sports.
See you.